Solibri Anywhere is a powerful viewer, but of course, as a free software, there are several limitations. In the next sections, we'll look at the functionality of Solibri Site and Solibri Office. Depending on your license, one or the other may be available to you. I will select the Office version, but I will focus mostly on the site features in this section. Also, users of Solibri Site will be able to follow along. We'll start from the same model as in the previous sessions. And to be clear, we'll start from scratch, Solibri building the IFC file. When you open a model for the first time, you may have several items pop up. We'll close the other one because we haven't dealt with rule checking yet, but we'll focus on the short name. In this case, the Solibri building, the base building, is there, and we have, as by default, assigned it to the architectural discipline. We'll also add a short name. Maybe we'll use the name Arch from architecture. This will be our architectural model. In addition, on the top of the view, you might see multiple views and layouts, and some of them come by default when you install Solibri, but there are others which other layouts which you might have created yourself. I've set up a few other ones, specifically related to, in my case, classification and a 3D view, which only shows a 3D view. And at any point in time, you can set up a new layout and add the views that you want. For instance, let's create basic layout, example, and we add the main 3D view, which is one of the views we probably need all the time. The model tree is the one we're accustomed to when we're looking at the viewer part. We'll put it on the left side. We can also add, let's add the info panel, and using this part we can drop it at the bottom. Now we just recreated the basic model view. But we can also add other views, for instance the classification view. And we can put it alongside the model tree and the info panel. And now we have 3 panels available. Whenever you want, you can create new layouts if that makes sense for you. But let's return to the main model view, so we're sure that everybody has the same view. A big difference between the Anywhere or the viewer version and the advanced versions is that you can add multiple models to the project. So I will add another model, and in this case I will check for the ventilation model of the ground floor. We'll open that. In this case it's automatically linked to building services, which I will change to ventilation because that's a more suitable discipline for this model. And I'll give a short name, MEP vent, something like that. Or let's call it MEP 0 because this one is for the ground floor. Now I have 2 models available. And since both models are set up properly and come from the same design, if I filter them out, I see all the ventilation, ducts and pipes from the ground floor. Again, remember, with the selection basket, you can isolate models however you want. Let's add another one. Add another model, and we'll use the first floor ventilation. Add it as well. Maybe this one we can call MEP 1. Again, ventilation model. And as you might have guessed, we can add second floor ventilation as well. These are quite lightweight models, so they load very quickly. So we have MEP 1, 0, 1, and 2. And let's inspect what we have. We select the 3 models and isolate them. And now we'll see we have a discipline model for ventilation alongside the main architectural building. When you load multiple models, they might not have exactly the same structure. For instance, the architectural model, if we look through its this BIM data and identification properties, that was created in the ArchiCAD software. The ventilation model was created using MagicCAD. It's a different software, also supporting IFC, and I can bring both models together without issue. But you might notice that the main structure of that model may not be exactly the same as the one that we set up earlier on. For instance, it's a different building. In this case, the names of floors are still the same, so that's a good thing. But if you want to look through all the different floors, then it might make sense to go to the federated floors hierarchy. And then the different models are merged together. You notice that Solibri starts from the first model with the ground floor, first floor, and second floor, but it still includes, if I pick the second floor, it still includes the ventilation part of the ground floor. So now I have a merged, or I have at least a composite view of all the objects on both the second floor of the architectural model and the second floor of the ventilation model. Let's save this file so we can return to it at a later stage. I'll go back to my own user folder. I'll create an additional folder, SiteOffice, where I will add the Solibri building, or let's call it coordination. This will be our coordination model. And then I can always return to it, start working on it. And this will be the start for the next sessions.